but unfortunately unavoidable due to some of the machines being installed. I do drive this car a lot. I drove it 2 weeks ago. Probably would have driven it last week, except it was snowing on Countach. My odometer and speedometer are in kilometers in Countach, so I can see the miles per hour, but it's real tiny. The Diablo, it's all in miles. Not sure if you can see it, but I do own that property right there. They're redoing that intersection right there. The city keeps wanting to survey and do stuff on my property, but they won't tell me if they're planning to take any of my property or do anything with it. And then I've talked to a couple of other people who say they think my property is going to get bought by the city. So, not sure what's going to happen there. Ooh, the car was not very nice. We're in Colorado, so it's a little chilly out today. It's supposed to be in the mid-50s, but it is definitely 45. I bought this car 2.5 years ago. That seems crazy. I've had that long. And I also have a few other cars. I'm definitely a car enthusiast. The first exotic car I ever really bought was a 1999 Lamborghini Diablo Alpine Edition. Bought that in 2014. I had purchased some other cool cars before that, obviously, but that's the first like true exotic. I also have a Porsche 928 I bought in 2010, maybe 2009, maybe 2009. Still got an Audi S4 that was my daily driver for a long time. My daily driver now is a Velociraptor 2017, but I bought it a 1996 Defender 110. Oh, there's some people on there, cool. Like a month ago, or 2 months ago, and it was from Bring a Trailer. It's just been awful. It's at the mechanic shop right now, getting worked on. So hopefully when they're done with some basic stuff, we can at least drive that vehicle, because it's undrivable right now. The brakes and steering is so bad. And then I've also got a 1981 Aston Martin V8. I've got a 1991 Supra 5-speed turbo, 1991 Mustang 5.0 convertible with a supercharger. That was my daily driver for many years as well, before my Audi. And then I've got a 1998 Lotus Esprit V8 twin turbo, a 1994 Supra twin turbo 6-speed Baltic Blue, and is that everything? I think that's everything. So I definitely love cars, love to drive them. I try to drive all of them as much as I can. The Diablo is having issues right now. I think it's got a bad alternator, but want to get that up and running here soon. It was down pretty much all summer, and the Countach was down for like 6 weeks because the key got stuck in the ignition, and it wouldn't, like I could barely get it out, and then it wouldn't turn far enough to turn the car on. So I actually had a locksmith come in. He looked at it and said it was broken. There's parts in there that had broken. He couldn't fix it. So he ordered me a new ignition assembly, got that installed, and it was nice having a locksmith do it, because I didn't have to have the car towed into a mechanic, and the mechanics probably would have charged me more, although I don't know if I've gotten a locksmith bill yet. And then, so that was cool. Those were guys, since I'm in real estate, I've worked with for many years. I knew them, I trusted them, so that was also a bonus there. I'm kind of in between car mechanics right now, which is tricky when you have the car cars I have. I had a guy who worked on all my stuff, and we had kind of a falling out based on some of the stuff he was charging me for, and the work he was doing, and just not being upfront with me on a lot of stuff. So that happened over and over and over again until finally I'm just like, okay, we're done. There's another place in town that kind of works on them, but they're real busy and are really expensive, and I don't know if they have the actual experience to work on some of my cars. I know they do on some, but I'm not sure if they do all of them, so that's tricky too. Last time I drove this car, which was, like I said, 2 weeks ago up here, I had my Insta360 camera mounted on the wing, and it fell off like 4 blocks from my office. I've used it so many times, it's never done that. But unfortunately, it was run over. So the Insta360 is dead. I need to get a new one of those. I did get the footage right before the car ran it over, but I didn't see the car actually run it over. I posted that on my channels. It lasted for 11 minutes on the road before something happened. Hit some open roads here. This isn't all this town driving. And hopefully we aren't following trucks the whole way. For a number of reasons. For rock chips and for driving. The sound of an Italian V12, that's for sure. And this is a bone stock engine exhaust setup. Most people with a Countach will add an aftermarket exhaust, and it makes it sound so much better. But this is bone stock. Eventually, we will do that, but you've got to kind of take the engine out to get that done. So the plan is, whenever my clutch goes out or gets weak, you have to do an engine out. For that, we'll do a bunch of stuff at once. So hopefully, it's not anytime soon that I get my new exhaust. But if I do get my new exhaust, you know, or if I do have to do the clutch, you know, at least there'll be some other bonuses that come along with it. Because the clutch job is probably $10,000 to $15,000. That is an expensive one. But the clutches on these will last, you know, 20, 30,000 miles, sometimes even more if you take care of them. And a lot of people think these cars are super slow. And by today's supercar, by today's supercar standards, yes, they are slow, but 0 to 60 is about 5 seconds. Goes 175, which for 1988 was incredibly fast. 420 horsepower. You know, the Mustang during that time period had like 205 horsepower, maybe 215. The Camaro had 205. So it was a crazy amount of power compared to other cars at the time. And one reason, water in this car, that was, there you go. One reason this car seems slow on video and stuff, this first gear goes to 60. So, not sure what that goes. When I'm going to red line, which I don't do all the time, but I can take it to red line. It might seem like it takes forever, but I'm going to 60, so that's one reason why I'm here slow on video. And if you're asking me questions, I obviously have my phone mounted, I can't see it. So when we stop, I'll see if there's any questions, but if people visibility out the rear is pretty awful. So I can see directly what's behind me, but not anything super low or anything super high. But I can't see left or right really behind me. So it's got some huge blind spots, so that's why I'm always paying attention as well. Because if I want to switch lanes, or I want to know where cars are and what's around me at all times. And I can kind of see if I really tilt my head and look around. But it's just, this car makes a good driver. That's for sure. We'll get down into first gear. Oh, there's a truck. We're going to have to probably that one too hard to beat. Blinkers don't ever shut off. And you can't really hear it because the car's pretty loud. So sometimes I'm like the old man. Oh, they're off. Driving with my blinkers on in the good road. This is usually a pretty fun road, but the construction. Back up to 55? Or did they just not have the right sign? That makes me hesitant to go too fast. The other annoying thing about this is you've got the other side real close to you, and you see all the gravel and stuff in the middle of that road. So those trucks can pick rocks up over here when they're that close to one lane. I much prefer it when they're over there. The Countach pedals are very close together, extremely close together. I wear size 14 shoes, so I'm 6'1", pretty big. I'm about the biggest you can be in driving the Countach somewhat comfortably. So if I wear my shoes, I'm constantly hitting the brake when I'm trying to pass. It's just real tight. So it's just much easier to not wear shoes. I could get like real tight driving shoes, I guess, but I never have. So I don't mind driving with socks on. A lot of people will comment that it's illegal. I looked it up. It's not illegal anywhere in the United States, at least, to drive with socks on. So it's kind of chilly. Yeah. Turn our heat on a little bit. I rarely need the heat in this car. It has AC, but it's pretty mediocre AC. So it is not like, it'll cool you down a tiny bit, but if it's really hot, it's actually probably better to have your tiny windows open. wonder why I don't engine brake or downshift. Brakes are much cheaper to replace than your clutch. So you don't have to use the clutch. You don't. I think Roy Katz, with Katz Exotics, who sold me my Diablo actually, has said he's gotten over 50,000 miles on a clutch in the old, I don't know if it's a Countach or a Diablo, but he's gotten a ton of miles on some of these clutches. So if you know how to drive them, which I may or may not, you can make them last. Obviously, you don't want to slip the clutch too much and try and, a little crazy. This morning, someone almost ran into me. Going around a roundabout, I had the right of way, and they just didn't even look or anything and just went. But as I said, I'm always defensive, I'm always watching. So I expect people to do that. And I did honk at her and let her know. You actually push in on the blinker button for the horn. Oh, well, there's people at the laundromat. I guess that's a good sign. Or at least there's cars parked there. That's a good sign, but it's also makes it more difficult for me to do my videos and different stuff inside, because then I gotta do a voiceover later on. But that's okay. I'm not gonna kick people out so I can do my videos. And the Countach actually has decent clearance over bumps. People don't think it's real low. It's actually not that low. I mean, it's very low height-wise, but it's not like super crazy low clearance-wise. The Diablo is much lower as far as clearance goes. All right, we are here. Is anybody still there? Oh, maybe there's one person. I don't even know how to see if I have comments. Do comments show up down here? Well, oh, now there's nobody. Well, thank you for being on. I got 3 likes. That's amazing. Could be much worse. We'll do some videos here, and we may do a different live on the way home.